In general, getting paid in the construction industry is very difficult. There's a lot of complexities there due to complex hiring structures and required documents. Specifically in Florida, they have some really tricky requirements around these notices, these documents that are there to protect themselves. It's a lot to keep track of, and a lot of things tend to fall through the cracks, and that's where payment issues can arise. My name is Piper. I'm on our customer education team here at Levelset, which means I'm working all day, every day with companies nationwide, making sure that they know the tools they have to ensure payment and that they understand the basics of the lien law in the state that they are working in. In today's video, I want to go over how you can ensure payment when working in the construction industry in Florida. And in order to do so, I want to make sure there's a basic understanding of how to protect your lien rights. The first thing you need to know about when we're thinking about getting paid in construction in Florida is about this document called a Notice of Commencement. Most states don't have this document, and it is sent at the start of every job, and it's required to be sent at the start of every job, and it's usually sent by the general contractor or the property owner. And it is really important because, first of all, it's required. And it also sets off a whole bunch of deadlines for other subcontractors working on the job. As a subcontractor on a job in Florida, or as a sub or as a supplier, it is important for you to be aware of when this notice of commencement is filed. This is public information. It should be information that's given to you at the start, but it's also pretty easy to find. And it's integral that you find out when this notice of commencement is filed, because your next deadline is going to be based off of that notice of commencement. Once you get your eyes on the notice of commencement, the next thing you need to start thinking about as someone who is not contracted directly with the property owner, so if you are a subcontractor, supplier, you have to be thinking about your preliminary notice, your notice to owner. The notice to owner document in Florida is a preliminary notice. It is a notice that is required to be sent at the start of the job, and it is there to promote visibility. Because if you think about it, if you are a supplier or a subcontractor who isn't directly contracted with the property owner, there might be a lot of people above you in the chain. When you send this notice to owner in Florida, you are opening up the lines of communication, and you are allowing everyone else on the job, everyone above you, to know who you are, your information, how to contact you, and that you expect payment when you are completed with the job. And it also protects your lien rights because it is this required document. If you do not send this notice to owner in Florida as a party who is not contracting directly with the property owner, you will no longer have the right to file a valid mechanics lien should payment issues arise. Generally, sending this notice to owner in Florida at the start of every job should be the only thing you have to do. It protects your lien rights, it promotes visibility, it opens lines of communication. It's all you have to do to ensure speedy payment. Once you send these required notices at the start of the job, there are a couple more really useful tools to keep top of mind, and that is sending your invoices on time, sending your pay applications, and exchanging lien waivers. And keep in mind, Florida is one of those states that has a statutory lien waiver template, so make sure you have the right form when you are exchanging that document. If you have taken all of the necessary steps to ensure payment, you've protected yourself throughout the job, you've sent your pay apps, and you still have not received payment, there is a really, really useful tool that you can use called a Notice of Intent to Lien. In Florida, it's a voluntary document. That means it's up to you to send it. You can send it when you'd like. And basically, it empowers your customer. It gives them one final chance to pay you before you actually go through with filing a mechanics lien. So it is a warning document, and it really does a good job of getting their attention, because what the document says is if you are not paid in 10 days, you're gonna go ahead and file the mechanics lien. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants that. So usually this notice of intent to lien is enough to get their attention and ensure you're gonna get paid real quick. We are helping customers send these notices of intent to lien every single day, and it is really incredible how powerful of a tool they are, how quickly our customers are then receiving payment. And the best part is it doesn't even affect the property title. All right, so you have followed all the required steps. You have sent the notice of intent to lien as a final warning shot, and you have still not been paid. Now it's time to use the final and most powerful tool you have in your tool belt, which is to actually file the mechanics lien. In Florida, your deadline to actually file the mechanics lien, should you have to, is 90 days from the last day of furnishing. And your last day of furnishing is either last day on the job site or last day supplying materials for that project. Now let's say you file the lien and you are still not paid. The next step is to actually hire a lawyer and take it to court. And there are deadlines around that to keep in mind to make sure that you are foreclosing on that lien while it is still valid. In Florida, that is 1 year from the day that the lien was filed. If the property owner files a notice of contest of lien, the deadline to initiate an enforcement action is shortened to 60 days after the notice is served on the claimant. If the claimant is served with a 20-day notice to show cause, the enforcement action deadline is actually 20 days of the claimant being served with the show cause notice. See what I mean? Florida is pretty confusing. There's a lot of different deadlines and requirements to keep track of. The next step, if you filed the lien and then are paid, is to release that lien. And that might land on the general contractor to release that lien, or that's something that you can do. I hope you all learned something about construction payment in Florida today. If you do need more information, head to levelset.com for free state-by-state resources, free forms. We have an Ask an Expert center, and you can even live chat with our support team and ask them more specific questions. Remember, payment help is here.